Hey guys, my name is Jay Vasquez with MightyBotStudio.com, and today I'm going to show you how to draw my character, Rad Rabbit. He's rad because he's a robot and he's a rabbit. All you need is a number 2 pencil with an eraser and a blank sheet of paper. It could be white paper. This is just printer paper, or if you have a notebook or anything like that, feel free to go ahead and draw along. We're going to make this simple. All right, so as you can see here, I have my pencil and I got my paper. Nice clean surface to work on. And Rad is made up of many simple shapes. A little bit of a preview, little practice piece of what he looks like, just so you can kind of see what you're getting into. He is a very cartoony character based on proportions of the early Mickey Mouse and Fleischer Studio cartoons from the 30s and 40s. That way, I really wanted him fun and interesting to draw. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So the first thing I like to start with is Rad's head. And usually from the head, you kind of go from there. Also, another thing, too, to kind of keep in mind is that you have a piece of paper. It's okay to move it while you draw. Sometimes it's easier to move your arms in arcs in certain ways. So move the paper to fit what you need. You necessarily don't have to move the hand to the paper. That's why I don't like to tie this down. And if I let it go, I do have a nice incline in here, so it'll slide away. So I do hang on to it. All right. So first thing is going to be an arc. It's going to be the top of Rad's head. So it's an arch. A single arch here. And I like to go nice and loose and light, and we'll darken it up later. And then this is the top of Rad's head. Now we're going to do his chin. He has very simple proportions here. So it's going to be a slight curve up. Okay. So here's his top of his head. Here's his chin. Now we got his nose. His nose, I like to kind of put it right around here. And it's going to be a rectangle. And then now we're going to draw his eyes. His eyes is an LCD screen with 2 little eyeballs in the inside. So I like to do one kind of curve, and then we're going to do another big arch, pretty much following the head here. Like I said, this is a screen. Okay. Now we're going to draw 2 of his eyes. His eyes are long and they're square. So they're long square rectangles here, and they're vertical. So here's one eye, and here's his other eye. Okay. And then on his cheeks, he has 2 little lines on each side. These, even though he's a robot, these are kind of to signify the whiskers that rabbits have. Now is my favorite part, is we're going to do the ears. The ears are going to be long and floppy. And I usually like to kind of put them one direction or the other. I kind of don't like to have them kind of split. So we're going to have them kind of leaning to our right here. So we'll start with this side here first. And they're kind of thin at the bottom, and they get thick at the top. We'll do this one, and I usually kind of like to have them kind of following a certain way. I think it kind of gives them personality, but you can kind of do whatever way you want once you learn the basis of this. And then we have the circles here, because these are like plugs. You know, it's kind of what they're kind of modeled after, since he's a robot. Plug prongs. All right, and now for his body. His body is a simple circle. So if you want to, you can kind of start over here in the middle of his nose, or like right around under his nose, and we're going to draw a circle. And it's going to be kind of a fat circle, because he's kind of a little chunky dude. About the same size of his head, but not as wide. His head is bigger than his body when it comes to width. There we go. Even if you wanted to do a circle, you could do a circle like that, and then use your eraser and come in and clean up whatever you don't want. Later, we're going to go ahead and we're going to darken all the lines. Okay? Now we're going to do his shoulders. He has a circle for each shoulder. 1 shoulder, 2 shoulders. And no circles for his legs. We'll get down there to a second. Now let's go ahead and do, he has a big light on his tummy here. Rad is a rescue robot. So he has lights on him to kind of light the way, and so people can find him and smoke and things like that. Because he goes rescues people from disasters or earthquakes, fires, things like that. All right. He also has two little circles. So these are also other little lights that are up here. And he also has these stripes. We'll go ahead and put on his stripes on his forehead and then also on his torso here. They look like vents. Not sure what they are, but I really like the design element to them. So line, curve, another line, little curve here. All right, let's go ahead and I think we'll do the arms. Let's see how we want to have the arms. I think we should do one waving. Maybe this one kind of waving, like saying hi. And his arms are pretty much are like tubes. Again, this is very based on early Mickey Mouse or early Disney. I don't like to do a curve. You kind of don't want to do a curve because it doesn't look very dynamic. If you do something like this and did his hand, it won't look as neat as kind of doing an angle here. So it's usually a little bit of curve and then up. I like to give him little knobby elbows too. And then his hand is just a circle. A nice size circle. This is his hand, this is his palm pretty much. So this is going to be this part of your palm is what this is. And then from there, I like to draw his fingers. Kind of like bananas, kind of like the ears too. They're thin at the bottom and then kind of make them a little bit chubby at the top and then have them come back down. And again, we'll turn the paper because sometimes it's easier to turn the paper than to turn our hand. We get a better line that way. All right, now I like to do a little palm here. So we're going to do a little palm here. Just a little, and we'll get rid of this. Now he does have cuffs, and this is kind of the most complicated that it gets with the cuffs on his hands or on his gloves and on his boots is they kind of show 3-dimension and they give the character 3-dimension. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a circle here like a glove. Okay. Then we're going to have a slight line come down, another one come down on the other side, and we're going to curve. We're going to match through this curve right here. Because he has kind of square, they're square round. Think of like a cake. When you see a layer cake and you're a sheet cake and it's round, but then it's flat on both ends, kind of like a fat quarter, like a stack of quarters. That's kind of what we're doing here. All right. There's one hand. The other hand, I'm going to do the legs because the other hand, I'm thinking we put on his hip. Okay. So we might have him, maybe we'll have him leaning. So what I like to do too is that how I'm going to map him out. I'll just do stick legs real quick and just be like, okay, maybe we'll have him kind of leaning this way. I mean, just leaning this way a little bit. And then we'll do this hand like this. Again, just a stick. And then here's his hand like that. We'll do that. Cool. And then we'll build on that. Honestly, his hand, this palm in his hands, probably, if you want to make them bigger, I'd probably come back and make them bigger, to be honest. But, okay, so now we have that. And we have here's his palm, or here's his hand. Here we got the circle, line, match this line. Again, stack of quarters. There we go. Now, forearm and his other arm and the knobby elbow. There we go. Now I say we do this leg first and we'll come back and do the fingers on that. Again, the legs are kind of the same way. It's kind of leaning here. Same one with this one. You know what? And I think what's going to look good is if I put it like that. There we go. And then let's do this one first. And this one is, I think this one might be, no, I think this one will be fine. We'll start with this one first. Again, same thing we did with the gloves. He is a rabbit, so he's going to have big feet. Okay. And we'll put this one like this. And let's do this one here. I think we'll do this one here. Kind of like this. Again, circle. And now his toe, that's going to be right here. The front of his foot, like I said, he has big feet. It's just going to be an arc. We'll do an arc like that. under. Okay. We'll do a line here to signify the back of his foot. And then he does have a little, let's extend this a little bit because he does have soles like gym shoes. And then 3 lines for his toes. Okay. Now, same thing here. We're going to do, to do the heel of his foot, we're going to do an arc like this with a flat. A lot of arcs and circles. And then we're going to do another arc here for his toes. Again, he's a rabbit, so he has big toes here. Okay. One line there, since we're looking at his foot from the side. And then we do a line here and a line here. You know, I like to match these all and have them all one line. And then we have the sole of his gym shoe. Okay. Now, what's looking kind of funny with this? Everything doesn't come out perfect the first time that you do it. So it's kind of looking kind of weird here. This foot looks pretty big, right? And then this one is pretty small. So we're going to go ahead and fix that by making this arch bigger. And let's see, this arch may overlap with the other one. So we're going to go ahead and let's narrow this circle a little bit. And then again, big foot, big foot. We're going to do the bottom like this. All right. And then we're going to do a big arch, 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 big arch. Like that. Curve, arch. All right. And then now what we're going to do here, we're going to match up that sole with that sole. And then 1, 2, 3 toes. There we go. And in his shoe, we're going to line and another line. Just like here and here, we grab that design and we bring it down. Now, we have his cuffs here, and we have his hand. Here's his fist. Now we're going to draw the hands, or that's not the hands, but the fingers on the hand is what we're going to do here. All right. One for the thumb, one for the index. He only has 4 fingers, one for the middle, and another one for the pinky. And we can keep these lines here because he does have they almost look like gloves. His palms are a different color as his fingers. Okay. And then he does also have a circle, just a little dome light, a little tiny light on his hands. Again, so when he goes in these areas, these dark areas, and he goes to rescue people, they can see him. All right. Now let's erase some of this stuff here. I think we keep this line here. We'll get rid of that one. This one we'll keep forward. And now we have the lines we have to do because his arms extend. So what these lines do is they give his body texture, his limbs texture, but they also extend. Kind of like Dr. Octopus's arms, if you've ever seen Dr. Octopus. Who would you like to keep it to 3 or 4? Even if you wanted to choose something like this, like right around, you can go ahead. Let's give him a knobby knees. I think the little knobby knees and the knobby, this one will be right around here. Give him personality. Actually, it should be a little bit higher here. He's my character, and I can't even draw him all the time, right? But that's just how it goes. Practice makes perfect. Now we're going to do here. Let's clean up our lines a little bit if we need to. Here he has another on his gloves. He also has the same thing here and here, and on his shoes too. Okay. And now what I'm going to go here is I'm going to go ahead and let's just darken up some of these lines. I've been working real light. Now we're going to darken up some of the lines, and then you guys will be able to see him better. All right. And this is just a standard number 2 pencil. If you wanted to go with a pen or a marker or something like that, make the lines really dark, or you can make them a different color, you can go ahead. And moving the paper as I need it, where I need it to be. So it's kind of important to have a nice clean drawing space, because you might need to move a big sheet of paper around like that. And if you have cups and plates and all kinds of stuff around, it'll be harder for you the bigger the piece of paper is. Again, just going through, making the lines darker now that I know where I want them to be. And if I want to go along and make any changes, I can go ahead and do that. Drawing is all about repetition. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And also, the same lines that are here, right, are also on his fingers too. And what I like about these lines as well is that they give him perspective. They make him look three-dimensional. So with the curve up, if your eye level is here, right, you're going to see the curves curving down. So they're giving his legs a three-dimensional shape. Well, his fingers have the same one. Just like you have 1, 2 lines. He has 2 lines too. Just like you have the joints in your finger. I like to do 4 lines on the soles. And then here's his whisker and whisker. And there we go. And then after you get that done, make sure you sign your name. I like to put the year that I drew it. Hey guys, thanks for joining me in my first how to draw video. Hope you guys had fun learning how to draw Rad. I think he's a cool character, and we might get more in depth with how to draw him and his special powers and stuff in the future, and that is where stuff gets really fun. If you liked what you saw, hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take it easy.